Let's go through the runners and riders. Seeyouatmidnight for Brian Hughes and Sandy Thompson training the Scottish Borders. At Fisher's Cross for Tony McCoy trying to get his career back on track. Barrafundle for Noel Feely and Jenny Candish. Closing ceremony for Richie McLennan and Emma Lavelle. 5 is Milansbar for Trevor Willian and Neil King. And 6, Lander Vic for Donald Devereux and Peter Bowen.
Yeah, and I caught up with connections of Seeyouatmidnight, who of course won this race.
Grade 2 prize, the Betfred Rendlesham Hurdle. Longish run to the first of the 12 flights. No shortage of potential front runners here. A closing ceremony, the first to oblige in the purple and pink, but kept company on the bend by Milansbar. Lander Vic, the mare, settled to track the leading pair in the early stages, with last year's winner Seeyouatmidnight Whitecap up the inner of Barrafundle, and at Fisher's Cross dropped out in last place by the 19 times champion. Slight descent to the first, their journey to it almost at an end, and its closing ceremony leading Milansbar. Decent enough early exchange as well. Lander Vic hops over in third, ahead of Seeyouatmidnight and Barrafundle, and at Fisher's Cross are looking on. So towards the midpoint in the back straight for the first time, and closing ceremony, and Richie McLennan leading up, but only narrowly, hurdling fluently. At Fisher's Cross had his own way of getting over the first couple of flights. Little hind legs first there. One more to take in the back straight this time. Closing ceremony from Milansbar. Lander Vic with the green sleeves just third, ahead of Seeyouatmidnight and then the nose-mounted Barrafundle and at Fisher's Cross. Into the wings of the third then, closing ceremony. Slick through the air, ahead of Milansbar. And now they prepare to run this sweeping turn, which will bring them to the end of the first mile. Closing ceremony, chasing a 4th success over hurdles, leading up here, defending his unbeaten record at the track, 2 out of 2. Milansbar, who has already run well here in defeat, close up in second. And then Seeyouatmidnight, right around the inner, needing to go back-to-back in this race. A feat performed only by Casbar Bliss in the mid to late 2000s, since this race was moved from Kempton to Haydock. Approaching the first up the straight. The 4th looming large, closing ceremony from Milansbar. Seeyouatmidnight jumping well there, just ahead of Lander Vic. Barrafundle had to be coaxed away from the landing side, right on the extreme left, just ahead of at Fisher's Cross. And now they move to the 5th closing ceremony. From Milansbar, Seeyouatmidnight, and again Barrafundle has to be chased along, a little more vigorously this time by Noel Feely, and at Fisher's Cross comes up sides him. Lander Vic, the mare, still in 4th, just in the wake of Seeyouatmidnight. Over the 6th they go, approaching the halfway point. A closing ceremony at the rubber things so far, leading Milansbar. They sat first and second pretty much from the moment Hugh Barclay dropped the flag and released the tape. Lander Vic back up into 3rd. Barrafundle coaxed into the bridle to dispute 4th with Seeyouatmidnight, and still McCoy sits and waits on at Fisher's Cross. Rounding the paddock turn, they go out and do it all over again. Barrafundle, the one who's travelled the least fluently to this point at least. Closing ceremony, still cutting out the front running work from Milansbar. And then Lander Vic, who was that strong, staying on 3rd at Ascot last time. Seeyouatmidnight, this time around in the hands of Brian Hughes, replacing the now retired Ryan Mannion, who was aboard 12 months ago. McCoy, Whitecap aboard at Fisher's Cross, and Feely still working away out wide on Barrafundle. Milansbar a little bit clumsy at the first on the far side. Lander Vic having a bit of pressure applied. On now to the last mile of the race, still 5 to jump, closing ceremony. From Milansbar, Seeyouatmidnight close up at Fisher's Cross on the far side. Just a little awkward over that one. Lander Vic under stronger pressure, and Barrafundle is struggling to go with them. And now they move to the last in the Haydock back straight. Still 6.5 furlongs from home. Closing ceremony by 3 parts of a length to Milansbar. Seeyouatmidnight angled out to get a better view of this flight. Shadowed by at Fisher's Cross, who took off in 4th, couple of lengths off the lead. Lander Vic still driven, but he's in touch, the mare, under Donald Devereux. The gap widening, however, all the time to Barrafundle. So the long run back towards home now, and the last 3 flights, and closing ceremony, and Richie McLennan on the sharp end. But Seeyouatmidnight are breezing up sides now, and he in turn is shadowed by at Fisher's Cross, with McCoy just administering a bit of encouragement, and now he gives a reminder or two to at Fisher's Cross, and closing ceremony is shaken up, and See You at Midnight on the back of this lengthy absence is still seemingly travelling strongly. Milansbar is back in fourth, Landovic is just about in touch in fifth, and now McCoy draws at Fisher's Cross to the near side to try and mount a challenge to See You at Midnight and closing ceremony. 3 out. See You at Midnight and closing ceremony took it pretty much as one, and now See You at Midnight shaken up for the first time. A closing ceremony digging in for pressure at Fisher's Cross is struggling to get on terms with them, and it's last year's winner, See You at Midnight, white cap alongside closing ceremony. The latter, however, a little quicker through the air. The lengthy gallop now to the final flight, with still the thick end of a quarter mile to travel. Closing ceremony, trying to see off See You at Midnight. At Fisher's Cross looking held. Closing ceremony, a length up, having taken the last from See You at Midnight. At Fisher's Cross is now 6 lengths away in third, head to one side, not getting to them. See You at Midnight coming again at closing ceremony, who's digging in tenaciously and finding more on the run to the line, and will successfully defend his unbeaten record at Haydock and step up to win in Grade 2 company. Closing ceremony scores under Richie McClernand from See You at Midnight. Both Milansbar and Landovic ran past, the most disappointing once again at Fisher's Cross.
Well, I think Richie McClernand, he made his intentions known, Graham, from the